All right, my friends, we got the whiteboard back, and I love it. Look at my hand. I can do like this. All right, so we just got off a call with a lady. Did my 1 hour consultation with this lady. We'll call her Amy. All right, so that's, can you read that? Yeah, it's Amy. Very nice lady. She's a widow. Unfortunately, her deceased husband was not an American citizen, so she does not qualify for survivor benefits, but that's okay. So Amy is 68 years old, and she's sitting there saying, I have this hodgepodge of stuff. What should I do? And like Amy comes from poverty. She doesn't want to go back. Let's just put it that way. All right. So I said, I get it, man. I get it. And wonderful lady, wonderful human being, taking care of her kids, whatnot. But she's like, what do I do here? And she's 68, hasn't taken Social Security yet. But she's nervous. She's worried, as aren't we all, because the media feeds us the fear. They're all out to get you. They're gonna get you. So they're not. In fact, Miss Amy here is gonna be doing just fine. So let's go over some of the scenarios here. And I was gonna say, we didn't do the full financial plan. The full financial plan, the reason it's more expensive is simple because we dive into it deep with software. We look at line item by line item. If we're just doing a 1 or 2 hour consultation, it's just basically ask me questions, give me some detailed information beforehand, and then we're done. But I'm not using a software. So thus, I'm not giving you any specific advice other than just my own thoughts to answer your questions. A lot of times it still works just fine. Not all the time. Not all the time. Especially if you're getting ready to retire and you're like, Roth conversions and stuff. You can't do Roth conversions on the fly. You got to do it with some software. Also, too, when it comes to actually your ability to maintain your lifestyle, standard of living, we want the software to get involved here. But I'll leave that to you to determine what's more appropriate. All right, so Amy's got assets. She has a primary residence, primary home, $180,000. She has a rental of $160,000. She has cash of $120,000, and she has investments of $275,000. This is like the ideal portfolio for the Barbell, by the way. This is like the ideal portfolio. She's not on Social Security yet, but she will be, and she's going to get $2,000 a month of Social Security income, roughly. And on that rental, she gets $1,000 a month. Now, I'm throwing a curveball here because she has this other source of income in terms of until Social Security kicks in. So she's not going to take Social Security until she's 70. But I'm basically excluding the other source of income. We're just going to say, presume she's getting Social Security now. It won't matter. But at the end of the day, she's really not taking it until she's 70. So she has $3,000 of a month of income. All right. Her expenses are $4,000 a month. I think they're much lower than that, but we'll give her the benefit of the doubt to overestimate, which is fine. But we're saying $4,000 a month. All right. And she has no liabilities. All right. So she has a whole of $1,000 a month. So she needs, needs $1,000 a month. All right, so here, this is going to work so flippin' well, I'm telling you, man. So let's show you how this works. This is a perfect barbell. Needs $1,000 a month. How much is that? That equals $12,000 a year. How much cash does she have? She has $120,000 of cash. So we go 20,000. I'm gonna tell you, this is so freaking perfect. And I'm not quite sure she understood where I was going with this because I couldn't draw it out for her, but I'm gonna do it now. All right, so she needs $1,000 a month. She has $120,000 in cash, which is $12,000 a year. That will give her 10 years of income that she needs without touching it. Now, but Josh, you got to inflate this. We're not giving her any interest either. So we're saying it's just that won't be inflated with inflation, and that's not getting any interest. In fact, if anything, we're hurting her a little bit because the interest she's getting is more than the inflated rate, but it doesn't have taxes either. So this is a wash. We're not inflating this number, and we're not giving interest on this. We're not inflating this. Now we will do that in here in just a second when we come back to the second part of this. All right, so basically she has 10 years. So we're going to scratch this cash out because it's coming down here. She has 10 years of living $4,000 a month, $3,000 come from Social Security from rental, and then $1,000 a month coming from the cash account. So far, so good. Now, what happens to this over the next 10 years? If we can get 7% a year, and I guess it's really 7.2% a year, that's going to grow to $550,000. All right? That's going to be $550,000 if we get 7% a year. And she'll be, by this time, 78 years old, by the way. $550,000. So she hasn't had to touch that stock investments. And we talk about some, VOO, VTV. She has Dodge and Cox. She's got a good portfolio. She had a good portfolio before she ever talked to me. She's done good by herself. 550. All right. Now, at the end of the day, that is inflated because you are getting earnings on this. So what's at 2% inflation? We'll just say, and we need $1,000 a month for over 10 years. All right. So we take $1,000 a month. Present value 10 years, and we're going to say 2%, zero payment. That will be 1218. Let's just make sure that's right. Is that right? Yeah, okay, 12. So 2%, 10 years, $1,000 a month, zero payment. Yeah, 1218. So that will be inflated to 1218 times 12. So she'll need 14. We'll just say 15,000 a year. So in 10 years, she'll need 15,000 a year to make up this. This will equal 1218, which will equal 50. We're saying 15,000 a year when we inflate that amount right there. So her cash is being exhausted by pulling the money out to pay for her bills that she needs $1,000 a month. The $1,000 a month, we're not inflating it here because we're not giving interest here, but we are inflating her stock investments at 7% a year. So we have to inflate the cost of living adjustments too, if that makes sense. So she needs $15,000 right there. So let's say, and I told her she'd take $200,000 out of this. $200,000. That leaves $350,000 in investments. $200,000 divided by 15,000 equals what? I don't know. I need my trusty calculator. So 200,000 divided by 15,000. That'll cover her for 13 point, we'll just a little bit more 13 years. That'll cover her for 13 years. Again, now in that case, we're not inflating this because we're not inflating that. You see what I'm saying? So we'll go over this real quick, then we'll wrap it up, and I'll show you what her concerns were. So now she's got, that will cover her for 13 years. So she's 78. She'll be 91 by the time she needs to tap in this. And by that point, she'll be 91 years old. If she get another 7% a year, 350 present value, 7% a year, 13 years, zero payment. That'll be worth $843,000 in 13 years. See how easy that is? That's the whole point about the barbell. If you can just leave the cash in there so you don't have to touch the stocks and let the stocks work their magic at that 7% a year, we're not swinging for the fences here. We're just saying 7% a year. That's it. So when you think about it, you're like, but Josh, initially she needed what, $1,000 a month on what's that? $400,000 portfolio. So initially she needed $1,000. That's $12,000 divided by 400,000. Was that 5%? That's 3%. Perfect. So she's golden. That's only 3% with the distribution rate. And look how that works. And now her house, her rentals, let's just inflate these guys at 2% a year. So we got what, 13 years, 23 years? Yeah. Yeah, 23 years. So we got 180 present value, which is inflated with the rate of inflation. 23 years, zero payment. That got to be worth 283. And this got to be worth, that's 160. 252. Okay, so between them, plus 252 plus 283, that's 535. Plus that right there, 843. So her total net worth will be $1.378 million at 91 years old. Now, yeah, that won't be worth $1.378 million in today's numbers, but we can factor that out. We say, okay, $1.378 million future value, and we'll just say 3% overall inflation rate, because I'm looking at for health insurance and things of that nature. 3% inflation rate, and we got zero payment. We got 23 years. That'll be worth $700,000 today. That's $700,000 in today's dollars. That's at 3%. So that's $700,000 in today's dollars, which is how much does she have? And her total net worth right now is 275 plus 120 plus 180 plus 160, $735,000. So basically, she's right back to where she was, except she spent all this money to live on. So basically, her total net worth factor in inflation is exactly where she started, except she spent all this money, which is flipping awesome. It's awesome. Because her concern is, let me scratch this off real quick. And this is what makes financial planning so wonderful. If you can just find a way to keep it simple, stupid. All right, so she spent all that money. She has a net worth of right where she started with 23 years previous. All right, in terms of adjusting for inflation. I'm only giving her a 7% rate of return. And we're not shooting for the moon here. Now, we're not taking taxes out, but taxes are going to be minimal, man. I mean, she's single. She has bulk of her income from Social Security. The cash account won't be taxed. Why? Because it's not an IRA. So her cost basis is the equivalent of the cash that she has in there, all completely tax-free. So she's not going to pay hardly anything in tax. But if you want to throw $1,000 a year in taxes, that's fine. But her biggest concern was health expense, long-term care, nursing home. And she's a nurse, so rightly so. Nursing home. And what she wants to do, she wants to leave the house to her kids. Nursing home. That's her primary concern. What happens if she has to go to nursing home? And what I told her, I said, just sell your house. Your house is your long-term care insurance. She doesn't have long-term care insurance. I said, you got to sell your house. That's no big deal. You know, they're selling houses the price of entry to an assisted living facility. And she goes, but I really want to leave it to my son. I said, no, I get it. But that's the risk of you needing a nursing home is met with by your home. The likelihood of you needing a nursing home of any significant expense is not high, maybe 15%. So 85% of the time, you'll have more than ample enough to pay to have your cash flow in terms of your investments. But the other 15% of the time, you'll have absolutely ways to pay for it, which is through selling one of your home, your rental or your primary residence. Either of those ways, you'll be fine. That's her primary concern. And so you leave the other one to your kid. No big deal. Or, worst case scenario is you say, I hate to say it, but we want you to be taken care of. So we don't want you to be a pauper living in your basement while your son's going to benefit greatly from your death. That's not good. So she has ample resources to pay for that nursing home, which is a big concern she has. And I'm not saying I poo-poo the concern. I don't. But don't put the concern ahead of the horse here, because the likelihood of this coming to fruition is not high. And B, you have a resource to pay for it, which is called selling your house. It's just that simple. She also said too much cash. I get that a lot. I'm telling you, no, you don't have too much cash. And the reason you don't have too much cash is because I just showed you. At some point, you get to the stage in your life where you got to stop trying to get more investments, and instead, you got to just get a plan in order, which means, yeah, it's not going to make the efficient market hypothesis or the efficient frontier, was it efficient? I can't remember. But yes, you're probably underwhelmed relative to your overall aggressive risk tolerance. But what's going to make you better sleep at night? Moving 60,000 of the 120,000 in cash to try to get 7 to 8% returns, knowing full well that you might be walking into a buzzsaw. And this is what I had to tell her. I said, look, man, we had from October of 07 to March of 09, you were down 55%. So if you would have moved 60,000 of that cash into the market, you'd be down, what's that, $25,000? So what was before going to give you $1,000 a month, that would be for 5 years, will only give you $1,000 a month for 2 years. So by moving half that cash, you've lost 3 years of living expense. And are you going to make that up from the other stuff? Because don't forget, the market was down, not just for this money here, but for everything else. So you say, well, I can make it up for my other investments. Well, can you? I don't know. It's not worth the risk. Get enough cash to cover you for a certain amount of years and just be done with it. And then she's like, how about some, more, she didn't say this, but I hear other people, what if I invest in like a conservative bond fund? I was like, there's no conservative bond fund that's paying you more than CDs right now. It's just not, or even savings accounts with the credit union. They're just not, because of the flattened yield curve. It's not happening. So it's either cash or stocks. Well, what if I invest in some conservative stocks? There's no such thing as a conservative stock. There isn't. Utility companies are not conservative. They're highly regulated, but that doesn't mean they're safe. And the more regulated, the more risky they are from the legislation. Anyway, so this is a good one. She's doing fine. I have a sneaky suspicion many of you guys are doing fine too. You need the barbell approach. Perfect example of the barbell approach in reality. I love it, and I hope this helps. So don't forget, subscribe, smash, share, comment, thumbs up, and even if you hate your old buddy Josh, like a guy said, I don't like old buddy Josh. I'm going to old buddy Dustin because old buddy Josh is too political. Thumbs down is, hey man, thumbs down helps the YouTube algorithm. I just rely on the people that like me to save me, because we want more thumbs up than thumbs down. So if you get a guy that's saying there's more thumbs down than thumbs up, I need you to rescue me by thumbs up. But thumbs down are good as long as there's more thumbs up. And of course, don't forget to hit the bell to be notified. Thanks now.